integrating the biometric fingerprint plugin into your app is actually quite straightforward. We've already put the upload plugin at the top, and to get the code for using it, we just access the documentation as in there. And if you go down the bottom, you can get examples here, and we're going to use the example from the basic one. So we're going to not even use our button, but we can use our button called the padlock to start it, but we don't need to do that. We're just going to add this part to the code, and when the screen loads, we're going to have it already ready. So if we go down here at the bottom of the on start, we call the create padlock layout. So at the bottom of this function, I've copied and pasted some of this code. I'll walk you through it now. I've set up a global variable called attempts because we want to go to the fallback option of the master password pin entry dialog. So we only want them to do three attempts at this. So we initialize the biometric plugin. Then there's a couple of things just to check if your hardware is detected or enroll fingerprints. If not, then we quit the app and we just put a message. We could at this point just go straight to the master password pin box, but for this tutorial we've just copied pasted the example here, and that's fine, you know. And the final thing, we just want to begin authentication. So when the padlock screen starts, we want to then start the authentication so we're ready. We don't want to have an extra step of pressing a button to start it, we just want to have it. So what does this method look like? This function, callback function, begin auth. Well, it comes with a type and a message, as we've got here. We just basically then check we increment the attempts. If it's over 2, because it's starting at 0, so we know then 3 attempts have been made, we just show a pop-up message, too many failed attempts. What we want to then do is to show the master password dialog. Obviously it's just in a to-do still, so we'll do that next. Otherwise we need to check, so we just at the moment just showing the pop-up, which is pretty much what we have here. Instead of alert, we've just typed a short top-up just to show the user what it is. If the type is success, then what we want to do is go into create password list. So we want to then at that point go into the password list that we've created, and that's it really. That is all that's needed to integrate the biometric code into this app. So if we run our app and we tap on the folder, I'll just put it to the screen so you can see it. Okay, now if I fingerprint there, you see it's failed. Now obviously on my phone at the moment the fingerprint's not working properly, which is actually good for this test for now, because we know the failure part is working, and it's now jumped too many failed attempts. It's now jumped into this part here, which is where what we need to do next. So the next step of this application, we need to just create that master password dialog. So if there's too many failed attempts, we go on to the pin code entry, and if that's correct, we go on to the create password list. Okay, so as you can see, I have added a function call here called show master password, and I'm passing it true because it represents I'm signing in, rather than, because I'm going to reuse this dialog for editing a master password. That's why I'm passing this variable through, and I've also put it in its own separate function, and that will be clear very soon. So let's have a look at this function. What does it do? Show master password. Well, we want to create a modal dialog box to accept a password, and then we're going to check it. So we create a global variable, allocate it to null, so we can just check what we need in that for is because we want to check if the existence of it. So if it equals null, then we're going to create the modal box. It's just basically a way of, we don't want to rerun this every time this function is called, because it delays to the user, and it's a lot of it, it improves the user experience if we can speed things up a little bit. So for the first time, we create a modal box using the UI create modal method, and inside here we've got master password. Please enter your master password. Submit, cancel. We added an event, set on touch event for this. Then we also need to create text edit field. That's I'm going to create a text box, and give it a layout and add it to this dialog. Then we're going to set the text of the password. So if it's signing in, then we don't put a value in there. If we are merely editing, then we have our password stored locally, securely in using low text. So we're going to use low text, called it master password, and it's in the vault file which we use for other things. You can use your own separate one if you want to keep it extra secure. It's up to you. So going through this touch event, what happens? Well, we need to do two actions here. Master password is checked against the stored password, and either master password is created or updated. So that is when we're on the password list. You'll get let's see if this runs. Yeah, you'll get this button here, master password, and what we want to do with this is then have an edit box come up where you can edit your password or change it as well. So that's what that's going to do. So this function is going to do both. Okay, so first of all we just check if the modal dialog box returns us an OK, or has the user pressed cancel. If it's cancel, we want to return. We're not interested. Otherwise, we're going to show the progress swirly thing. Then we're going to get the text from the text edit box. Just check if the person is signing in or not. Then we're going to, because up here we added an extra variable to our control here called is signing in, which is then also that one. So if signing in is true, what we need to do is check the entered password against the stored password, which we have in low text here, and then log in as success. Otherwise we alert, sorry, incorrect password, try again, and we show master password. So we're calling this function again. What it's going to do is display the modal dialog box without having to create all of this. If we're not signing in, what we need to do then is just to check we are either creating the password or we're going to edit the password, and then we just save it locally using save text password value in the vault, and then we put an alert password saved success. So wonderful. So if we try and run that now, does it come with an error? No, it doesn't. And we do this. Fail, too many there. And there we go. Master password. Please enter your master password. Now you may be wondering, actually, this is something we need to now address. The first time you load this application, obviously there will be no password. So actually the first time you load, we need to actually bypass the whole thing, don't we? We need to bypass the front screen, really. Just go straight to the list. So I think if we don't have any password set, then we assume that we, well, we can actually save text. We could save a little flag actually as well, is first time, and until the password, master password, gets set, we make sure that is there. So we could always then, on the saving on here, we could always put it, we could always make sure we change, so is first time, and we could put then no, something like that. Doesn't matter, you could put a 1 or 0, and then each time now that's going to save the text there, and it's always going to put this. So we can then use this when we first load the application, is first time. We could put right up here on the on start here, so we could put if app.load text name, what did we call it, is first time, default yes, file vault. So we could put that equals yes. Then we want to do create password lists. Else, I think he likes it written like this. Okay, so if upload text is first time, this is the default, so if it hasn't found it, it will return yes. So if it equals yes, then oops, we want to just go straight to the password list, else we create padlock layout. Right, so let's see if that is working. Does that work? There we are. So now the first time you load the app, or every time you load the app until you've set a master password, we are going to assume there's no password and it's just going straight in. We could then remind the user to you must set a password to lock the app. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assign, we're going to fill in the blanks now. We're going to put in a call to the dialog box when we press the master password button. And then we're going to load up the master password, show master password thing, so we could actually put that there. And I think that is in, I think we put the menu on select, it's in here. Menu on select, we had it somewhere, here goes. Master password, show master password, so we already have it already. So will this work now? Loading, there we go. Now for this demo we already have an actual password I created, but for this demo right now we're going to recreate. So if I put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, not an advisable password by the way, but for this tutorial it's fine. If I now press submit, will it save? Password saved, but we have a login success is not defined. So if I go back to the file, yes, we're calling a function that doesn't exist called login success. Can you see? We don't need to do that. And I'll show you what we need to, actually we don't need to do anything there. Because we're just saving it, so we don't need to do anything. So actually we can remove this line, we don't need to. Now if I press, if I rerun this now, will we see the padlock screen? Because we've got this now here. Will we see the padlock screen? This is the test. Yes! Look at that. So now, every time we load up our app, it's going to come to here as the first port of call. And if we try and do the fingerprints, fail. I really need to set my authentication up on my phone properly. Okay, now if I press something else and press submit, it's going to come, sorry, incorrect password, try again. Comes up with a dialog. So if we now get this right, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lovely password there. And press submit. Whoops, I've got, you see I've got login success. Now, why do I keep seeing this? Well, I copied this from an older tutorial and I haven't updated it. So it's good though to see errors happening and see what you can do and what you need to do. And we can actually see this is working well because we know now it's got the correct password. It's found it from the local storage and they both match. So all we need to do to get this working is change login success to create password list. And that should be enough. So if I now rerun this application and oops, I pressed the wrong button. That's it. My phone fail. Too many attempts. Right, okay. Now if we get the right password, 3, 6, and 7, press submit, and it should load. There we go. And there we have our secure password storage. We can add new keys. Can we edit existing ones? You bet, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, there are a check test in there. Can we save them? There we go. That's saved. And we've got master password now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can now add, also put 8 and 9 to the end. It saves, password saved. Now if I stop the application, if I restart the application, and then I have to go into the thing again. So if I type in as it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 now, as we've changed it in the edit box, and press submit, and the new your new password is used. So that's great. So I think we are pretty much there. You can obviously extend this further in many ways. I mean, you can always just split these, split the code up into multiple files. At the moment, I've put password list. You could put the padlock into its own file as well if you want. But again, it's all up to you. I mean, for this tutorial, I'm not going to go into all of that. But what we've done is we have showed you today how to create a list where you can control and edit your passwords. You can add new passwords. You can remove and edit existing passwords. You can edit the master password in order to use to get into your list. And we've also integrated fingerprint recognition plugin. And also we've used all of the material UI controls for the look and feel. And I hope this tutorial has not been too long for you, too boring, too slow. I've tried to keep it as energetic as possible. And yeah, see what you can do with it and go forth and build. Until next time, thanks for watching. And I will, include the SBK file into this final tutorial of this short series, which you can then obviously download, install on your machine instead of trying to type in what I've done on the video. Okay, great. Have fun, and until next time.